Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled at the edge of a dark and mysterious forest, there lived a sweet and innocent girl named Little Red Riding Hood. She was known for the vibrant red hooded cloak that her grandmother had lovingly made for her, and she wore it everywhere she went. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother called her into the kitchen and said, "My dear, your grandmother is feeling unwell. I have prepared a basket of goodies for her. Would you be a good girl and take them to her? But remember, stay on the path and don't talk to strangers." Little Red Riding Hood promised to be careful and set off on her journey, holding the basket of treats tightly in her hands. As she entered the enchanted forest, the tall trees whispered secrets, and the sunlight played hide-and-seek through the leaves. Unbeknownst to Little Red Riding Hood, a cunning and sly wolf had been watching her from the shadows. The wolf had a mischievous plan in mind. He wanted to reach Grandma's house before Little Red Riding Hood and enjoy a tasty meal. The wolf, using his knowledge of the forest, quickly sprinted ahead and arrived at Grandma's cottage. Knocking on the door, he mimicked Little Red Riding Hood's voice and said, "Grandma, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I've brought you some goodies." The unsuspecting grandmother, who was feeling weak, replied, "Come in, my dear." The wolf entered the cottage and gobbled up poor Grandma in one swift motion, hiding her in the closet. He then put on the old woman's nightcap and climbed into her bed, ready to trick Little Red Riding Hood. As Little Red Riding Hood approached the cottage, she felt a strange chill in the air. Something seemed off, but she couldn't quite put her finger on it. She entered the cottage and noticed the figure in the bed, covered by the blankets. "Grandma, what big ears you have!" she exclaimed. "All the better to hear you with, my dear," replied the wolf in a disguised voice. "Grandma, what big eyes you have!" she continued. "All the better to see you with, my dear," the wolf replied once more. "Grandma, what big teeth you have!" she cried out. "All the better to eat you with," the wolf snarled, revealing his sharp teeth. Just as the wolf lunged at Little Red Riding Hood, a brave woodsman who happened to be passing by burst into the cottage. With a swift swing of his axe, he rescued Little Red Riding Hood and Grandma from the clutches of the cunning wolf. From that day forward, Little Red Riding Hood learned to be even more cautious in the enchanted forest. The villagers celebrated the heroic woodsman, and the tale of Little Red Riding Hood's adventure became a cautionary story for children, warning them to be wary of strangers and to always stay on the path. And so, the village continued to live in peace, with the memory of the brave woodsman and the lessons learned from Little Red Riding Hood's encounter with the cunning wolf.